Hi, xiii-2 early here with another vlog video. This video will be talking about mainly a game that I finished recently. The game I'm talking about is the game that came out January 31st, 2012. That game is Final Fantasy 13-2. Man oh man, we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. Basic story is Lightning got captured by some chaos force and was thrown into Valhalla. Here she meets basically the goddess Etro. Etro grants her powers and she fights against Caius. She finds out that she has godly powers and can see time, so when she knows that a person from the end of days is basically going to come to Valhalla, she tells him, which is Noel, to go find her sister, Sarah, and change the future. The person who wants to end time, the main villain, is Caius Ballard. What he basically wants to do is make it so that time never goes forward in the future. And the reason why is explained at the very end. So yeah, that's the basic story. How is it executed? Well, like in traditional Final Fantasy fashion, you don't really know much at the beginning. You only know stuff that happens, well, according to what happens here, it happens at the end. And you're kind of like, what the hell? And then you finally go through the adventure with your two main characters, Sarah and Noel, and you find out, oh, this is what's going to happen. And at the end, they do a really good job, at least I thought, of explaining Caius' main reason and what happened to Lightning. What kind of is bad about the story is that it's a whole time travel convoluted mess with a whole bunch of paradox stuff and changing the future and basically what really ticked me off is that Sarah and Noel, two main characters, basically know everything about time travel. They know everything about the paradox, they know what's going on, they know how to stop the paradox, and I'm like, okay, we have a guy from the end of days, or maybe he'd have knowledge of it since time travel, but then we have Sarah, who's basically, her basic education is bachelor degree university, and I don't think she would know about time travel unless she took way advanced physics. It really kind of pissed me off. I kind of understand from the Academy researchers, but and I can understand Sarah and Noel at the end understanding it, but they understand it at the very beginning. It kind of disbelieves, and it's kind of annoying. You should know about it at like 2/3 of the way in. They're not, I don't see them as expert geniuses. They're not portrayed that way anyway. Some main complaint about the story is that the main motivation for Sarah is that she only wants to find Lightning. I guess that's kind of true, but later on you find out there are other reasons, like she wants to save the future with Noel. She wants Snow back to normal because they meet up with Snow. But and she wants to meet Lightning. I guess Sarah's character is kind of bad, but at least I'm not bothered by the fact that she only has, like, according to most people, one motivation. I'm not bothered by it. And she has one motivation, and she's supported by Noel, who gives her other motivations to help the cause. Which I don't feel like that's bad. Let's go for presentation. We're done with the story now. Story, it's okay, it's good, it's fine. It's just, the thing that is holding it back is that Sarah and Noel know everything about time travel, and it's a time travel story that's convoluted and time travel stories. Ugh. I haven't really seen one that pulls it off right, and the only one I think that pulls it off right is from way back when, classic, like The Time Machine. Anywho, presentation. Presentation is pretty solid. Graphics are what I expect. They're pretty polished, they're pretty pristine, they're pretty good, and there's barely any bugs. Only one major bug I found, pretty much, is when you're doing a puzzle, like an anomaly rift puzzle, that Noel or Sarah would not stand on the spot. Like the secondary character that's not doing anything, he wouldn't stand on the spot sometimes. Sometimes he'd try to follow you, and he'd just be waving around the back and front. Pretty much, I haven't seen any major glitch, pretty much. And to me, that's very good. That's a very good thing, and I love Square Enix for that. They really take their time in addressing graphical glitches. They don't make you see them. They're really hard to see. As for graphical quality, is it like really high or really low? It's a bit toned down from 13, and I understand that. If you're gonna make like huge areas and highly populated NPC areas, you gotta tone down the graphics. It's like no sense. It's common sense. And they're still doing a good job with it. Now we get to the other part of the presentation, which is sound. We'll start with the voice acting. Voice acting for all the main characters and all the main, like, really big roles, it's really good. Even Mog, who's the new role that's with Sarah, she, I think it's a girl that voice acts him, does an okay job. He's a Moogle. Ugh, Moogles. They basically say Kupo at the end of every sentence, and albeit annoying, it's fine with me. I don't care. I know what Moogles are, I know what they do. I know that they're little puffball annoyances, so I don't really care. The voice acting for the other main cast, like Lightning's voice actor does a really good job. Everyone pretty much does a very good job. The voice acting for the NPCs, though, debatable. Some of these people are kind of trying too hard to do some stereotypical person, and sometimes it's kind of funny, and then sometimes it's like, really? Ugh. You just get this taste in your mouth, and you just want to, like, press the A button or get this over with, give me the information I need. Some people are pretty normal, but basically most of them are not very... one main annoyance I have is the Choka... what... the Chocolina impersonators at Serendipity. Every time I go there and I have to listen to them, I'm like, oh god. And they don't even say that much either. They just say, what can I do for you today? Or, go to the Chocobo races. Welcome. It's just... or they tell you how the slot machine is doing. And oh my god. It's annoying. It's... ugh. But... yeah. I can't give the main... I can give the main voice actors a lot of credit. They did a really good job. Really good job. Caius and... oh, jeez, Caius. Liam O'Brien, he did a good job. Now we move on to gameplay aspects. Oh, a lot to talk about here because it's a Final Fantasy game. There's a lot of gameplay aspects. You got battle system is basically the same as 13's was. You have your paradigm and you have your ATB gauge, and the actions you do are taken up by the ATB segments, and then some special attacks take longer segments than others because they're more powerful. That system's great. It's good. Weapons are pretty good. They're fine, but they're basically kind of repetitive though. They're only like chain bonus and ATB rate plus whatever. Leveling up. I found leveling up to be very easy, and the fact that they don't give you a level cap is one of the main disappointments I have. Once you level up to 99, which doesn't take very long by the way, considering every type of fragment you collect you gain CP. You gain CP from doing battles, which are very frequent, even with it's like you take it's like Final Fantasy X, or I heard somewhere like I'd say it's on part of Final Fantasy X, because every 20 steps I pretty much had a battle, and I know they do this for basically getting the random enemies in and basically getting you materials for your monsters, but god, the random encounter rate is very high, and the result for that, you level up pretty quickly. So yeah, you heard me talk about monsters. I'm not a fan of the monster system in this game. I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. For the fact that the monster system is what gave me many random encounters. The fact that I can't use any of Sarah and Noel's CP to level up my monsters. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, they use components that you get off of monster drops. I'm pretty fine for that, and it could be very useful in the beginning of the game, where you don't want to spend CP, but there should have been like a symbiosis of it. Like, yeah, you can use a crystal or whatever for the instant level up, and you can use how many crystals you want, but as soon as you run out of crystals, then you can have like, and you have like tons of CP, you could probably substitute CP at the cost of the monster. I think that would be a very better system. Another thing I don't like is that the monsters replace a character. To me, I really like characters. I really like character development. I really like interaction between people. I really like to see that. And if you're gonna put like monsters or something in there that you could use, at least have them interacted in like the battle scenes or something. They don't do that at all. It's just Sarah and Noel, and then once the battle starts, the monster magically appears. It should be there. If you're gonna put them in the cutscene, please. They don't do that. All they do is make you believe that they're magically there. Another thing I really hate about the monsters is the infusion system. Monsters can eat other monsters and then they gain abilities for that. But that would be all fine and dandy if the infusion system is really convoluted. It's really confusing. They don't give you any inclination on how to use this damn thing. They just say, good luck, find it out yourself. Good luck. It's goodbye. See ya. Oh yeah, you can eat other monsters. There you go. That's all they do. They don't give you hints. They don't even give you a basic tutorial on it. Like for an example, they don't even show you like there's this thing called like yellow walking and all this damn stuff. They don't show you that at all. I read all the primers. They don't show you that at all. It's very badly executed, the infusion system. It's not very good. All you get is basically trial and error. And all the guide gives you that I found on GameFAQs, it gives you the exact level up and way on which you should level up your people, but it's like I had to. I don't get to use or experiment. I had to look at it because I was so confused. And to me, that's not a good mechanic when the person has to go and say, guide, help me. It's not good. I hate monsters. I hate gotta catch 'em all. And another bad thing about it is you can't catch 'em all in this game. You are discouraged from it. If you try to catch 'em all and optimize them all, you can't. You flat out can't. You can only choose certain ones. Monsters. Bad. I hate them. In fact, if I had recording software, I would probably do a playthrough of Final Fantasy 13-2 with just human characters. Humans only. That's all I do. So yeah, I don't like this system. I prefer summons, or I just wish it was executed and given more guidance. So yeah. Along with combat, that's basically the main juice of the game. There's also serendipity, which is mini game place. What I don't like about Serendipity is that unless you have DLC, there's only 2 options you can do. It's not like the Golden Saucer where there was actually like 7 or 8 different things you could do. Yeah, they weren't awesome or great, but they were there and they were entertaining and you could do them. Here, there's only 2 things you can do, and one gets really boring. One in the chocobo races gets really boring, and the other, which is the slot machine, is all based on a crapshoot. So yeah. Serendipity, I don't like that either. I mean, it just feels like it was just put in there for a nostalgia trip, and that nostalgia trip I got from it was not very good. I had to spend like 4 or 5 days in that place to progress the story and earn the casino coins. And what I hate about it too is that you can just buy your way out of it. You don't even have to play the games. You can just buy coins from Gil. It's like, why is that even there then? Why isn't Serendipity even there? So yeah. And then also you can do, if you have DLC, you can do Coliseum battles, which is kind of like FF10, where they're like big challenges and they're harder than the final boss. Coliseum battles are good, considering you get a little bit of dialogue in them, you get a battle that's really good, and you get, if you succeed, you can use them and tame them, which is really good. Coliseum for this one is a plus. Other things you can do is basically, there's also rift puzzles. Some of them, there's 3 main types. There's one where you walk through a certain path and you collect all the crystals while you take a step back and it disappears, and you have to go through the crystals and get them all and get to the exit without getting surrounded by a dead end. That one's okay. There's also my favorite one, which is Connect the Dots, where you get colored crystals and you connect the dots and you make a picture. Then there's the worst one, where Hands of Time, where you basically have this clock and you basically have to figure out how to get all the numbers on the clock to disappear. That one is kind of a bitch, but it's okay. So, gameplay, pretty solid, except for monsters and Serendipity. Okay. Now, I'd like to put this in a separate category for music. Music is, well, I didn't mind the music. I didn't mind, the only music track I didn't like was in Academia 500 AF. It's repetitive, it's boring, it's just a piano part going over and over and over again. And that was terrible. The rest of the music is pretty good. Herba's music's okay. The Crazy Chocobo's okay. And the main music that I really like the best is the Eternal Fight, Entro's Champion, the reusings of Blinded by Light and Dust to Dust, especially Dust to Dust. The reusing of that was awesome, and it fit the scene perfectly. They did a really good job with that one. It gives me tears just thinking about how they used Dust to Dust in this game. It was awesome, especially in where they used it. That was perfect. And another perfect track that I really like is Kai's Ballad's main theme. Holy crap. Now that is awesomeness. And how's the final battle theme? It wasn't Latin chorus in it, so it was kind of bad. I didn't really notice it, and it didn't really stand out. It had a good beat to it, and I was like, at the start I was like, okay, but it just didn't. 13's boss fight music. Holy crap. Final boss. The true final boss, not the Joe fight. But final boss with that was a lot better than what the other final boss music for this game was. Music, I really liked it, but some people will say it's a hit and miss. Now to the final recommendation. What you should do with this game is basically be a little bit wary of it. It's a sequel from Final Fantasy. It has a kooky system of monsters, and the infusion system is a mess. The music is hit and miss, but when it hits good, perfectly. It hits really good. And the graphics and overall presentation, you will be impressed by it, but you will be kind of annoyed by voice actors of the NPCs. So yeah. Final price point, I'd buy this right now. I would wait. I would wait and buy it at $29.99. Because the main reason I would want you to go and buy it at $29.99 is because a lot of DLC is available for this. And for you to make this experience even better and funner and what a true Final Fantasy is, you would have to go and buy that DLC. So I would probably buy it $19.99 if you're not so interested in Final Fantasy, or $29.99 if you decide to wait on this. That's mainly because the DLC, there's a lot of it right now. They've just released like 5 or 6 packs of DLC, and they're not in bundles yet. Or my other recommendation for you is buy at full retail price a complete edition or the extended awesome edition or crystal edition, or let's say Final Fantasy 13-2 was so awesome that it was the game of the year, and to promote sales they decided, hey, we're going to put all the DLC and the main game into one disc and sell it out for, what do they sell Game of the Years for now? Let's say it was sold for $49.99. I'd say go out there, go get that Game of the Year or Crystal or Complete Edition or whatever it is. Go out there, go buy it, and and get the game. Final thing I wanted to touch on for this game is the ending. A lot of people said the ending was bad. And I don't know what they're trying to get at for this. Final Fantasy 13-2's ending is not bad in a sense that it was poorly executed. It had no plot it had plot holes galore, and it just didn't make sense. It was bad in a sense that the game basically took all the main characters of FF13 and said, screw you, everything goes back to the way it was, everything gets killed, everything dies, all that you've done for 40 or 60 hours, or in my case 100 hours, gets destroyed because of the main thing we did at the end. We defeated the bad guy, and the bad guy's dream came true. That's how it was bad. It was bad in the sense of everyone got screwed over. It wasn't bad in execution or plot holes. It was just bad in the sense that everyone didn't get what they wanted. And considering that there's no real closure in this, it just screams, the ending screams sequel or DLC story episodes. Like in Founding Census, there is not going to be Final Fantasy 13-3. There will not be that, because sales for this game were not very good. Wasn't very good at launch. But there might be story episodes, though. Should you be okay with this? No, not really. You shouldn't be. DLC, to me, should not entice a player to get a happy, nice ending or a real ending. DLC should not be that. So yeah, it shouldn't be that way. All DLC should be is a cool side mission, or a cool side mission that's not at the story at all. It doesn't focus on the main story. It doesn't even go forward into the next game as part of the main story. It's just there for a side thing that you do just to have fun. And DLC should also be, if you're gonna do like ending stuff, it should be for epilogue or a future chapter on how the team did at the end. Or it should be like a kooky what if story or a fanfic. There, DLC can be like a fan fiction now. Because I see that people are not too keen on the idea of DLC that is part of the main story, the side DLC that is part of the main story and goes on and makes itself more important in the main story of the next game, and they're not really keen on DLC that has to give us a complete ending or closure. and people are not too keen on DLC that doesn't really add much to the experience. But yeah. That's what the ending did. It promoted a sequel, or it promoted DLC. And just a reminder, you should not do that. It should not be part of that. The best example of a good DLC packs that were sent out were, I think, Borderlands was a good example of DLC that was executed good, because the DLC was completely different stories, completely different experiences that lasted a while. It had nothing to do with the main story. It's just some kooky ass thing that happened to Pandora. So that's what I wanted in DLC. Borderlands. That's what Borderlands did good. So yeah. Buy Final Fantasy 2 ad. At $19.99, $29.99, get the DLC, and then if there's a bundle or a collector's edition or a complete edition or game of the year or whatever, buy that. Buy that at full price. This has been my look at and final thoughts of Final Fantasy 13-2. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment telling me, hey, you put up some valid points there, or hey, these are completely wrong, and this is why I think so. So yeah, until next time, I'll see you later, and hopefully more updates, more stuff from me. See ya.